Throughout the year of 2023, I released over 100 Minecraft tutorials, and in this video I will be showing you the top 10 farms that I recommend everyone has in their own world. And before we get started, all these farms along with their tutorials will of course be linked down below. So let's get into it. Farm number 1. Iron farm / iron farm trading hall. Now, iron is the backbone of any Minecraft world, and having a steady supply of it is very crucial. Now, not only does an iron farm provide you with a steady supply of iron, you can also build one that has a trading hall. But before we jump into the one with the trading hall, right here you can see a very simple and easy design of one that doesn't have a trading hall. This one I have copied above the ocean, but you can very easily build one above land too. Now, an iron farm like this is super simple. All you need is 20 villagers inside the room that will create the village, 20 beds to make sure that all the villagers can spawn iron golems, and of course a way of killing the golems, which we have right here, and then you have a chest collecting a bunch of iron and some poppy flowers. Now, if you prefer an iron farm with a trading hall, I would recommend this design right here. As you can see, iron golems are being killed a little bit differently, but you can of course kill them however you want. However, if we go under here, you can now see that we have a bunch of villagers under here that you can trade with. Now, the villagers I have in here so far are only 20 villagers, however you can fill up all these other rooms and have many more. And as you see, we can now head into these villagers and trade with them. Now, my recommendation is that you definitely have an iron farm trading hall, simply because in my eyes they are better. And I primarily mean that because you have the option to trade with the villagers, which means that you save yourself the time of building a trading hall separately. So yeah, that is that for iron farm / iron farm trading hall. Number 2. Food farm. Now, for this I will be showing you a cow farm and a chicken farm. Now, whatever it is, a cow farm or chicken farm, making sure you have plenty of food is extremely important, and with a steady food supply you will be able to save a bunch of time. Now, personally I would opt for a chicken farm since it's fully automatic, but a cow farm still works well. Now, the way this works is that you will have to head up here and breed up the cows, and once you breed up the cows they will spawn babies that will then fall into the water and be pushed into this room. Now, once the cows are adult, you can turn on this button, turn it off again, and the cows will start burning, which of course will result in them dying, and you will get a bunch of cooked beef and leather inside the chest. However, if you want a food farm that's 100% automatic, I would definitely opt and recommend a chicken farm like this one. How this works is that we have a bunch of chickens inside here that will be dropping eggs that will be picked up by the hoppers. They will then be shot into this room, and once chickens grow up, perfect timing, they will then die by the lava, and the chicken meat and of course feathers will go into this chest. So yeah, that is that for the food farm. Farm 3. Super smelter. Now, smelting resources can be pretty time consuming. However, with this 8 furnace super smelter you will be able to smelt your items a lot quicker, and you don't even need to put the resources into the furnaces. To use this, you would simply place the resources inside these hopper minecarts. You will place the resources you want to smelt out in the top ones, and of course the coal or any sort of fuel in the back one. Turn on these levers, and then the minecarts will go back and forth, and they will evenly distribute all the resources that you're going to smelt inside these furnaces, and they will of course be smelted and then dropped into this chest. Number 4. Villager breeder. Now, as you have seen, we have already used a few villagers for example iron farm, and having a villager breeder like this one can be extremely useful, well, for that. Now, along with iron farms and trading halls, there are quite a few other things you can use villagers for, like for example a villager crop farm, and I will actually be showing you one of those later in this video. Now, having a villager breed like this one can save you a lot of time, and to bring the villagers out of this one you simply press this button and they get sent out automatically, so you don't need to break the glass and have a bunch of villagers roaming around. You can just press this button and you save a lot of time having to move villagers back and forth. And the way this works is very simple. You can simply head up here, break this glass, throw a bunch of food into these 2 villagers. They will then breed up a bunch of babies that will then spawn on these platforms, and they will then fall into this room right here, and when they grow up we can transport them out of here. Number 5. Villager crop farm. Now, this villager crop farm can primarily be used for 2 things. One, as a food farm, because you can obviously use them to farm potatoes, which you can then cook up and they are a pretty good food source, or you can use carrots, which aren't that good, but in the beginning stages, you know, you have to do what you have to do. Or secondly, you can use it as an emerald farm. Now, since I've already mentioned food farms, I would recommend that you use cow or chicken meat instead, because eating potatoes or especially carrots can be quite time consuming and they don't really feel that much hunger. Now, this can be used as an emerald farm because if I look into this guy's inventory, we can see that he trades potatoes for emeralds, which obviously means that we can use the potatoes that he gives us to get free emeralds. Now, the neat thing about this is that after you have built it, you don't need to do anything else. It's 100% automatic and you don't need to do anything, which is why this is so good, because you would get a bunch of crops without really doing anything. Number 6. Mob farm. Now, a mob farm can drop many important resources, like for example rotten flesh, which can be used to trade for emeralds, string, which you can craft into wool, spider eyes, which can be used for potions, or bones that you can use for example for bone meal, but most importantly you will get a lot of gunpowder, which can be used for example rockets or TNT. Now, this is why I heavily recommend that you have something like this in your world. Now, as you see, this build is very simple and it's very easy to build, and if I head into the actual farm you can see that it's very simple. It doesn't use much, it's very basic, it doesn't require require much and you can build it out of pretty much any kind of block. Now I would highly recommend that you build this quite early in the game because mob drops can be used quite early and they can be extremely powerful. And along with that, once you get yourself an elytra, having enough gunpowder to craft rockets is going to be essential. Number 7. Item sorter. Are you tired of an uncleaned base? Well, say no more. With an item sorter like this one, you will be able to sort out all the items you have and you will be able to sort them out to their individual chest. Now the one I have right here is very big, as you can see, but if you want to, you can even build this using only 1 or 2 layers of chest. Now to show you how this works, if I head into here and then place out some diamonds and iron inside this chest, they get sent up into the water stream and then they get pushed into the appropriate chest. So all the diamonds will of course go into this chest, as you can see, but then to speed this up a bit, if I move the diamonds to the second place, we will see that iron will not go into the gold chest or the netherite chest, it will only go into the chest that's supposed to have iron in it, as you can see. Now no matter if you want a big or a small item sorter, it's very easy to build and it's very easy to expand, and honestly everyone should have one of these in their own world. Farm 8. Gold farm. Now gold can't be used for too much beside golden apples and maybe some decor stuff and some other items, but a gold farm will still produce other things like a lot of rotten flesh, which can then be used to trade with villagers to get emeralds, but you can also get an insane amount of XP. Now as you can see, I have a double portal gold farm right here that produces a lot of gold but also a lot of XP and also a lot of emeralds. Now the way this works is by taking portals on and off, which will then spawn a lot of zombie piglin and they get then sent into this hole, which of course will kill them using a trident killer. So if we go down here, we can also collect a bunch of XP if we want, which is good too. But then if we head under here, we also have an automatic item sorter that will be collecting of course all the items, but another thing it will do is also shoot all the, for example, golden swords we get into lava. So if I head back up here, we can see a bunch of these piglins dying, and this farm will produce a lot of XP and a lot of gold. Now this is a farm you won't really need too early in the game, but it's something I would highly recommend you get once you want to start getting a lot of OP gear. But having a gold farm like this can also be extremely important once you want to get yourself some trading halls, and this is because zombify villagers you might need a lot of golden apples, and obviously mining that gold manually can take a lot of time, so having a nice little farm like this can be very useful. And as you can see, a lot of piglins die and spawn here. Farm 9. Concrete maker. Now if you use a lot of concrete, having a concrete maker like this one can help you a lot. Now by building something like this, you will save yourself a lot of time, and that is because you can send AFK in it and you will be able to turn concrete powder into hard concrete. Now as you can see, I've already filled this one with concrete, and the box of concrete we have right there is, well, a lot of concrete. But pretty much how this would work is that we would turn on this lever and then we would simply place ourselves out concrete inside this room right there, and then it will be pushed forward and will obviously be turned into, well, hard concrete by the water we have right here. And then once it reaches the end right here, the concrete will be pushed forward, and then once the concrete reaches right here, it will be pushed upwards because of this observer, and then once it reaches the top right here, it will be pushed inwards into this ball right here. This obviously means that you can have a lot of concrete powder and you can turn it into a lot of hard concrete. Now honestly, if you don't use concrete, you don't really need this, or if you only use a little bit, but if you're planning on using quite a bit of concrete, I would highly recommend that you have something like this. Farm number 10. A wool farm. Now having a wool farm can be pretty great. Wool can be used for stuff like terraforming, but more importantly beds. And once you get into the nether and you know you're looking for netherite, having a bunch of beds ready can be extremely crucial because it will save you a lot of time. Now a farm like this is 100% AFKable and you do not need to do anything yourself, which is why it's so great. Now if you build this early in your world, you will end up having a lot of wool by the time you head into the nether and ready to mine for netherite. Now pretty much how this works is that whenever these sheep eat this grass, which obviously means they get wool, we then have some shares inside these dispensers which will obviously be activated and shot out at the sheep, and obviously the sheep will be shared, their wool will fall off and they will then fall into this chest. And as you can see, if we head into all these chests, it has happened with them. The nice thing about this too is that you can have only white sheep if you want, or you can color them and then get the colored wool, which means that you save a lot of time on dyeing the wool afterwards. So yeah, anyways guys, that is pretty much it for this one, and remember, all the tutorial to these videos will be linked down below. Anyways, if you have any questions about any of these farms or anything like that, feel free to leave them down below and I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. So anyways, thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.